Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And we are on episode 90, and we have a really exciting episode because we're doing our recap of Gobfest. We just attended the Gobfest board game convention that's held in Edmonton and had an amazing time.
Yes, we always do.
Yes, we really do. Now, before we get into that, I just want to bring up that we have a sponsor, which is Games and Couples, which is part of Oshret Online Counseling Services. And what's really great with them is they concentrate on the principle of the Goffman method for the couple therapy. And what they've discovered is that it was a great way of putting those method into practice was through gameplay and specifically co-op play. So they use a lot of board games as a tool in their couples session. And I think that's just amazing. So be sure to check.
Super cool.
Yeah, so be sure to check the comments below, or we'll make sure we add their links. So be sure to check them out. So, Carla, Gobfest. How many Gobfests have you attended now? You've attended more than I have.
We went. I think this was my fourth.
Okay, yeah, this would have been, I think, my second.
Because
last year I didn't go because I was just in the middle of training for a new job. So I ended up not going. But this year I could, and it was great. And we got an Airbnb, awesome. So our whole gaming group, we're all together.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can tell, but both me and Carla kind of are struggling with our voice now. We must have been screaming the whole time.
Well, yeah, I woke up Monday morning and I'm thinking, I didn't teach that many games. Like, was I just talking all weekend? I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been doing the tea and the hot chocolate and lots of fluids but I could just tell I'm talking and there's nothing behind there. It's a
little squeaky.
Yes, but it was, I don't know. And we've been following the same schedule, but every time I would set my alarm at night, it'd say, Kate, your alarm is going off in 5 hours. And I was like, oh, ouch. So long days, short nights,
we
not
stayed up
very
late
much
and
sleep.
got up early. But
yes,
just to get as much gaming in as we could.
Yeah, and then like an idiot, every time I would get back to the Airbnb, I would post all the pictures before I would go to bed. So but it was such an amazing time. So we're going to be talking about our favorite 9 game that we played at Gobfest. But before we get into that, we also acquired some games while we were there. Pompeii is very close by, so I took advantage of that. And then there was a flea market. Now, before we talk about the games that we bought, I think we have a really big announcement we should share with the world because this is just amazing. I sold 4 games.
I was like, I don't know what this is.
Because I don't do that hardly at all. I have a really hard time. And I went through all my collection and I walked around before we went and managed to pull 4 games to sell. And none of them came home with me. Well, none of those came home with me. I did purchase 11 games, so the system does not work. But I'm just kind of impressed with myself. And it's funny because I posted that I was going to be selling these, and I had 5 people reach out to me saying, "You're selling games? Is everything okay?"
Yeah, you don't tend to sell much, that's for sure.
I have I don't buy them if I don't like them. So I buy them, I like them, then I keep them forever and ever, apparently. But
yeah, that flea market is truly magical. I usually will pick up some gem there at a great price. I got a few smaller games this time, but I sold a big game that I had been wanting to sell for a while now. And 2 other friends, well, actually you as well, you've sold your Gloomhaven, but we all had a big box game with some expansions that we wanted to sell, and we all sold them. So it was awesome. And I sold all my games that I brought there too. I think I had about 5 or 6 that I sold.
Oh, that's great.
So I was happy with that, but I did come home with more than that.
Right?
as
So it's
well.
not just me.
No.
Well, it's funny because when we were at the flea market, I was like, okay, I'm going to go look. There was a couple that was at the table next to us. And they were like, we're talking about our collection. I was saying that I was at over 800 now. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go look around. I come back. And then when I came back, I had my arms full. And then she's like, yeah, we watched you go around looking at the games and all the games you bought. Like, we know why you're at 800.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, it's not a mystery. It's very obvious, but all right. Well, let's get started. We have bought 11. I don't know how many you purchased, but we're going to talk about 3.
Yes.
Just to keep things under control. So tell us, what did you get?
All right. Well, the first one I got was actually just right before Gobfest, but I count this because it was our Gobfest weekend. Our friend Ashley had went up to Mission and Fun Games, I believe it's called, in St. Albert, and was picking up a used game on the way for one of our gaming group buddies that wasn't going to be at Gobfest. So she picked up a game for him, and then she went there to grab something for herself. And I was like, oh, awesome, because I was about to order this game from there, and pay the shipping. But if she was there, she could just grab it for me. And that was called Paperback Adventures.
Oh.
So if you've heard of the game Paperback, it's a spin-off of that game. So you are using different cards to spell words. And like in the Paperback game, it's a competitive game where you have like this market of cards that you buy, and it's a deck builder. You start with everyone starts with the same letters, and it's 10 cards. And you'll pick out 5 cards, like grab 5 from the pile, and you'll spell a word with that. You can always flip the cards or use them as wilds. They are specific wilds in this. I get this one and hardback mixed up. But and then you spell a word, and however much money is on the letters that you've spelt, then you get to buy from the market. So now in Paperback Adventures, it's similar, but it's a solo game, and you're going through an adventure, and you're kind of trying to fight off like bad guys. And depending on, instead of like buying letters, and depending on what you spell your words with, you might be able to like attack them, or you might be able to heal yourself, or do other things. I haven't looked into it totally, but on a lot of the solo channels that I watch, this is like a must-have for solo players. So I've been wanting to get this one for a while. So that was my first one, Paperback Adventures. I just got one of the packs with it. I think there's like 3 or 4 you can get, but you have to buy the base, and then you can't just play that alone. You have to buy a pack, and I bought one called Damsel. So we shall see. I haven't got that to the table yet, but in the next few weeks for sure. What's your first one?
So when I was at the flea market and I was sitting there with you and Kayla, I hadn't really looked around yet, so I was just looking at the one table next to me, and you had pointed out one of the game that was there. So I don't know if I'm going to get it, but one of us should. And also, we just finished doing the top 100, me and Travis. Actually, the 10-1 is going up on Friday, and I can't remember which one it was on, but this episode is going to be on after that, so I can talk about it. But he was talking about how Role Player was his Sagrada replacer. And I hadn't realized until then how Role Player worked. And I was like, oh my God, this sounds so cool. So they had Role Player. Now, it's not just Role Player, because it's an unusual box.
It's the big box with all the expansions.
Right. Which, I mean, I'm not big on expansions, but, and then they had all the core foam insert in there as well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, yeah, Travis sold me on it, and I was like, okay, I think I do want Role Player. And then it was right there, and then you're like, if I don't get it, somebody should get it. Yeah. And then you weren't pulling, and then somebody who could have bought it. So
yeah, and then you got it. Me and Kayla were jumping for joy.
Yeah, like, you guys like cheered. Oh my God, yay! It's like,
because we get to play it. Because I played it once a long time ago at the cafe, and I think I played it before Sagrada.
Oh,
I can't remember, but it was. I barely remember, so I definitely want to give it another try. Well, and if you just want the base game and I end up liking it, I'll buy the base game and then I'll trade it and pay the difference to you for all the expansions, because I like all that stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely looking forward for that one. But yeah. So
Awesome.
don't know a whole lot about Role Player yet, but
Yeah.
this one was fancy set. So Role Player, that was one of the ones I
Awesome.
got.
Well, and there's also like a Role Player Adventures where, I mean, I know you're not into
Yes.
campaign games, but it's a campaign where you can use some of the characters from that one, I
The
believe.
characters you create into,
So,
yeah.
Kind of neat. But all right, well, the second one I bought was now I've been searching for this big box, and it's a campaign called Kinfire Chronicles, the Night's Fall. And it was a Kickstarter or GameFound. Just kind of came out in the last few months, but you can't find it anywhere. It's not. It's sold out of retail. I don't know if it went to retail. I think it did, but so you can't find this anywhere. And so I'm searching for it. I have my name up on a site, on all the used game sites in search of. And the funny thing is, about a month ago, when I was just starting to kind of look into it, there was someone had posted in Calgary that if somebody wants this Kinfire Chronicles Nightfall, you can come and pick it up for free. It's just not reset. You're going to have to reset everything. And I was like, oh. And then before I even really it registered, someone had already took it, because it's a $200 game.
Oh my God.
I mean, they said, oh, well, it might spoil things for you if you have to reset it. Who cares?
Totally right.
But anyway, you can't find this. So I've been looking for, there's a little card game version that has some similarities to it, but it has like the characters, two of the characters from it. And it's called Kinfire Delve. And now this one is just a 2-player game where you are delving down this well to try and fight this Vainglory evil person. And by delving down this well, you have these 4 cards that you have to beat that are surrounding this Vainglory. And every time you beat one, it'll say how much you get to delve down. So you might get to delve down 5 cards. So then you take 5 cards off the stack and you're just trying to reduce it to 0 so that you can fight her. Now, what's neat about it is you have all these different cards in your hand that are different colors, and the different people, some of them are puzzles and some of them are like obstacles that you have to fight or beat, have certain colors. So the colors you have in your hand can go towards one of them. But the neat thing is your partner can boost you, and they can stick a card underneath, and there's certain colors on the bottom as well that can boost. And then you also roll some dice. So these dice can help you boost your combat or whatnot. And then if you succeed, then you get to delve down. If not, you just put that damage onto their card. You might have to suffer some sort of damage as well. Sometimes you don't. But it's neat because each card kind of will say different things, if you do this, if you have damage on another one, then this one you can add to, or if you have 2 of these out at one time of the same card, you're going to have to add an extra strength to this one, all kinds of things. But the card art is beautiful. The backs of the cards, this is the one that I showed you, remember, that had the shimmering shiny art on the backs of the cards. It's just gorgeous, and the play is awesome. I played it solo I think 6 times already. I just love it. Yeah, I think it'll be even a better 2-player game because it's hard as 1 player because you can't boost. You can boost yourself, but you don't have as many cards as you would in a 2-player game. But yeah, it was really fun, and just like a half-hour game. It's not easy, but I'm looking forward to getting that to the table with 2. That was my second one, Kinfire Delve. I think it's called Grotto's. Oh, I don't have it here. Grotto's something. There's another one coming out with the other 2, with 2 other characters where you can have 4 people play then. But it's just to give you a taste of the big campaign game kind of thing.
Yeah. So. It's kind of cool that you find that, being that you were looking for it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I found that used, and then a friend brought it to Gobfest. So
perfect. Well, the second game I'm going to talk about, I didn't buy at the flea market. This is one that, so when I first got to Edmonton, I went straight to Pompeii because I had never been there. And I know. And it's just barely a block from where the location is for the Gobfest. So I went there first because Gobfest hadn't started yet, and kind of looked around, and then had picked out a couple of games that I wanted. One I bought there, and then one I bought because Paperback was also sponsoring Gobfest, and they had kind of like a section set up where you could buy games. And I ended up buying Maple Valley, the Kickstarter edition. So I just finished unboxing it, and KTBG is so great at making great inserts for their game. And not only is there an amazing insert that's like the game trays insert, but there's also a page that shows you where everything goes inside the insert. And it's like, okay, here's where you put everything. And it's like indicated all of that. So I was like, oh, okay, love it. Plus, they have like extra card slots so that if you end up sleeving your cards, there's room for it in there. Like, I think all other game designers and game publishers should kind of take note here. This is really good. I've been watching a couple of tutorials on how it plays. So technically, it's like a sequel to the Creature Comfort. Like, you've set up with Creature Comfort, you kind of prepare yourself to be ready for winter. This one, winter's over and you're about to have a spring festival and you prepare yourself for the spring festival. But it's more about path and kind of where you're going to go and what you're going to collect, and kind of be able to acquire these cards so that you have all of these things to contribute to the festival. So I haven't played it yet. And then with the Kickstarter component there, oh my God, they're beautiful. Like the little wooden bits and all that stuff. And then the worm, like you have a different worm, and it's like one, like, like the bookworm, like the brown bookworm, or green bookworm. Like it's kind of more like that. Mm-hmm. So that's your first player marker. Mm-hmm. The whole thing looks so amazing. So I can't wait to play it, but they make beautiful games. So I'm really excited to have picked this one up. So that's the second game, Maple Valley.
Awesome. My last one is one that I have kind of been looking for a while. It's just a small tile laying game. And I had just about ordered it off Amazon, but it was a little too pricey. And I thought, oh, maybe one day I'll find it at a market. Well, sure enough, I found it here. Sure. And this is called Volupsa. This is a Viking tile game, and it's just the theme of it is like Vikings, but you are basically, it's an abstract strategy game, and you have these square tiles. It has a beautiful cover. It's like in blues and greens, and it has this Viking on the front. It's just gorgeous. I got it for $5, and I was almost going to pay, I think, $40 on Amazon. So I was so happy. But what you do is you each will start with 5 tiles, just random. And then there's one that'll start in the middle of the board. And then you start placing tiles. Now, each of the tiles has like a little ability. And basically, you are trying to place tiles in rows and columns to have the highest tile, because then you can score the whole row or column. They go up to 8. There's a few that are in the expansion, which I didn't add yet. We just played it with just the base, but you have Loki, and if you put him next to anyone, he zeroes everybody out. So then the next time you would play, like say you zeroed out an 8, the next time you could play something that would like maybe be the highest in that whole line. So he's kind of neat. You have Thor, who is just like a high, I think he's a 7 or an 8. And then you have a wolf, and then you try to build these wolf packs in these rows and columns, and then you get to just count all your wolves. You have this one, she's a female Viking, and when you can just place her and take a tile, so you can replace one, basically. So if you need a high one or something, you can replace it. There's like a goblin that you put down, and then nobody can put anything around him. And you can only build a 7x7. So it's kind of tricky to like figure out, well, how am I going to do this? Because you kind of get blocked out after a while. There's a few other tiles, but it's so neat. Like it's just a really unique tile laying game, with it just being like an abstract strategy with these beautiful tiles, and super quick, like 20 minutes. And because you just go through all the tiles. We only played a 2-player game, but it does go up to 4. But just really pretty and cute, and I was so happy I got it. And that is called Volupsa.
Nice. I think I saw the back of it, and it just looked gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty.
If that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one I'm going to talk about Now, all weekend, I took a ton of pictures. I took pictures of all the games I played, but I would also regularly, between my gameplays, go through. There was 2 like gaming rooms, and I would go through all those rooms and take pictures of all the games being played by other people as well. And then I was walking, and I took a picture of this one game, and I was like, "Oh wow, wait a minute, this one is beautiful." Like, you have all these cards that kind of creates this board. And then each character or each players have a different character they play with, and you have these little wooden bits, and they're so adorable. And one was like a little black cat with his big wide eyes. It kind of looked like a Felix the cat. So that's his characters, and he has all these little Felix the cat's wooden bits. One of them was like a frog with, it was gorgeous. It looked so good. I was like, oh my God. So it kept going, and then I'm playing a game not too far away, and I look over kind of towards the end of the game, and this board is all filled with these, I don't know what they're called, like those, I don't know, it's like a wooden on top, and then there's 2 towers, kind of like decorative thing, but they have all of those, plus all the characters kind of all over the board, and it was so stunning to look at. And it's an area control game, so you have like these 3 tiles that you would put cards next to, and these cards will activate where you can place one of your characters, and if it has a punch token, you can punch somebody out of there so they would get removed and all this. But by the time they were done playing the game, this board looks so amazing. It looks so pretty that I was like, I'm buying this. Not knowing anything else about the game, just the table presence alone. It says, no, actually, it's a neat game, but and Pompeii was selling it. So I was like, okay, great. I'm going to come and buy this. I'll wait till the end of the flea market to see how much cash I have left, and then I'll put the rest on my card. Then at the flea market, they had that game there. So they had the original Kickstarter one. So, because Pompeii had the base game, plus they had an expansion, which I wasn't going to get because I don't really do expansion. But then they also had a mini expansion that added an extra character, which I was going to get that one. But what I ended up doing, they had this game in the flea market. So I got it at a discount then. So I got the base game. And then there was an extra expansion that was part of like a part of the Kickstarter that give out 2 new characters. So it has a turtle, which I'm super excited about, and a raccoon. And I still went and bought from Pompeii that expansion that added the yellow monkeys.
Is this Night Parade? You haven't named it yet.
Oh, did I not even say the title? Yeah. This is Night Parade.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I was just so excited about just how the whole game looked. Mm-hmm. And I think, just with my game group and the Legion game days, this would just be an easy one to get played, and it just looks so beautiful. So I was super, super thrilled to find it there. And yeah. But yeah, the little turtle, the components. Oh my God, the components are just so adorable. I cannot wait to try this one.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks very cute. And those 2-player mats look awesome.
Oh yeah, and then the one came with the neoprene mat, which I don't think the regular game came with. So, but yeah. So, perfect. We scored really well.
Yeah, I got so many more, but we'll talk about those in a future episode.
I'm sure when we get them played, we could toss. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, there's a few more for sure that I want to bring up.
But now some are actually on my list of played here, so worked out well.
Yeah, I don't think any of mine are. So it didn't work out that way for me. But yeah, so let's get started. We're talking about our top 9 games that we played during Gobfest. So Carla, what's your number 9?
Well, my number 9 is one I got brought to me again at Gobfest. And this was one that you have a different version of it. And I always thought, I think I would like this maybe version of it. And you taught me there. And it is called Hero Realms. And this is made in 2016 by Robert Doherty and Darwin Casti. Now, I don't know if did they both make Star Realms as well? I wonder if they both did. Yeah. But anyway, so is it just a 2-player only game, or is it
so
if you have more decks?
You get. Yeah, like the first Star Realm basic deck was for 2 players.
Oh, okay.
Star Realm Frontiers is for up to 4.
Oh, okay.
And the one you had was up to 4 as well.
Oh, was it? Okay, I didn't even notice that. Okay, cool. So we played it as a 2-player. You taught me. And it's basically a battle game. You're just trying to reduce the other person to 0. But there's a lot that you can do in there because you can, it's not just about attacking and, reducing your health. You can put up these guards as well that people will have to attack. I should mention it's a card game. It's a deck builder. You all start with the same cards, I believe, with like so many coins in them and so much attack in them. And then there's a market in the middle between you, and you can buy each round, depending if you have coins come out in your deck. But it's really cool because you can, go back and forth. And it took us a while because we're thinking, oh, I wonder how like we kept building our health back up. And then all of a sudden we slowly started to go down, and then I was reducing and reducing and reducing. Then you finally got me. But it was really fun. I liked it. And that's my number 9, Hero Realms.
Yes, that is great. And then, Star Realms plays the exact same, just different theme.
Different
and I just decided to keep the Star Realm one. Perfect. My number 9, I played twice. That was like the first game I played this weekend, and I played it with Roberta Taylor, and she just whipped my butt both times. And this is Boop. So Boop was published in 2022, created by Scott Brady. And first of all, this game is just so adorable. You turn the card, like the box of the game, and you place it upside down, and you put on top of it like this little quilted mat that's on there. And then
it's cushiony, like it's like little
it is. It's like and then there's like because there's like the sewing between that creates like a grid on there. And then you start with a certain number of kittens meeple, and you put the meeple on, and you take turn putting a meeple on. But if you ever put a meeple next to another cat or another kitten, whether it's yourself or another player, it bumps it off. Like it's like they bounce further away. So if you put a kitten, it'll bounce one space away. Now it can bounce off the mat as well. So you got to be aware of that. And the goal is you're trying to get 3 kittens in a row, and then they get traded off for cats. And then you have the bigger cat. Now, if you put a cat onto the mat, the same thing happens. They bounce away. But if you put a kitten next to a cat, the kitten doesn't have enough weight to bump the cat, so the cat wouldn't move. But one thing I kept forgetting is that you can, like, if you bump a cat or kitten that's next to something else and it would bump into another cat, it doesn't move. It stays in place. And I kept forgetting about it. So she's like, really? Like, you just left this open for me here? And I was like, oh, I forgot. So I was like, okay, rematch. And then I forgot again. So, but oh my God, this game is just so adorable. Simple, abstract game. I want it. And then there was like a Halloween version, and Roberta was telling me there's a Christmas version
one coming out. It's calling Boop the Halls or something.
Right. So
and it's a 3-layer one. I've seen it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what she was saying. Like, it's a little bit different, but this game, it was so neat. So fun. It was a perfect way to start the weekend. So that's my number 9 now. Boop.
Nice. My number 8 is World Wonders by Z Mendes, made in 2023. Now, I had purchased this game, I don't know if it was before Christmas. I think it was before Christmas, and we played it a couple times. It's a polyomino game, but it's so fun. You are building up your, I'm going to say city, but how you do that is you will be drafting polyomino tiles, but you can also draft these world wonders. And these minis are so nice. They are all colored and sculpted just like the actual world wonders. And it's neat because there'll always be 3 out available. And in order to get them, you have to spend all your money that round. So you start with 7 gold each round. And as you're drafting tiles, depending how big the tile is, it'll be more money. So you might have buy the big one, which is worth 5, I believe. And you'll place that and you wait till your turn comes around again. And then you might draft another one. There's only 1 of each type of tile. And you can also buy more roads or this tower. And so you have to be really strategic because have you played this yet, Mel? World Wonders?
No, but I want to. It looks
Yeah,
amazing.
you like it. So you have this square grid, and at the bottom is a sidewalk. So you can attach any road to that sidewalk. You can attach any building to the sidewalk, but once the building is like you've placed it above the sidewalk, now you can only attach that color of building to it unless there's a road there. So you can always attach any color of building to a road or a tower. Now there's always one tower per round that everybody fights over because after a while you kind of block yourself out because you don't have any more roads and you have to only be able to put those colors around the same building. Unless you can get a world wonder there, then you can put that, but you can't build anything off a world wonder. But in order to get these world wonders, you have to have met the criteria for them. So
Okay.
say like there's a Colosseum, that one might want to be beside a specific color of building and a road or whatnot. And so you have to make sure you have room for it in order to place it. And there's other ones that want to be on water or something like that, but they're all really neat and they're all real world wonders. It's quite thinky because we played a 5-player game, which was nice. I've never played 5. I've only played at 3 or 4, but 5 adds another tile in, so you have a little bit more to choose from. But it was neat. We actually built all the wonders, which I don't think we've done in a game. But between the 5 of us, we built them all. And we had 3 of us were very close in points. But it was just so neat to play and just to see how we fight over that one tower. Because the tower will save you if you kind of blocked yourself out and you can't build anything. Then you can stick a tower anywhere that touches you. And then you can build a road out from there or another building. It's just really cool how it works. You have these little tracks of resources too, and each tile will have a different color of resources on that you'll move up. And as you move up those resources, you'll pass these white heads, which are population. So then you get to move up your population track. And you're trying to get that track to the end because that's where the points are. So you're basically getting points for moving your reputation up near the end past these rings. Your world wonders are all worth points. And then also you want all of your buildings, well, you won't get all of them, but as many as possible to be completely surrounded in order to score them. If you don't do that, you won't get to score. And they only are 1 point each, but it's quite puzzly and thinky to how you're going to plan everything. You're gonna have to try that one. It was awesome. But yeah, that's my number 8, World Wonders.
Yeah, that one I've kind of seen, and I haven't played it, but it just looks so intriguing.
Yeah.
All right, my number 8 is not yet published, but we got to play the prototype copy that the designer had, and that's Roberta Taylor's Café Baras. And okay, the artwork is just so cute, so adorable. The attention to the details, and then the tiles in the back. But we're each a bara, and we have a little coffee shop that we are running, and we're trying to kind of bring in new things for us to be able to sell at our coffee shop, and as well attract customers so that we can sell those things to them, and then it gives us coins. But then if you're able to sell everything they like plus have the correct ambiance for them, then they'll become regular customers, and that gives you bonus points at the end of the game as well. Plus that's also how you trigger the end of the game. First player to get 3 regular customers triggers the end of the game. It goes for one more round, and then you tally up the score. But I mean, it was cool because the first card you had one card that you had creature comfort at your cafe. I got one where we had a crib board, and I just loved it. And it's I don't care about strategy. I want the crib board. Oh, mistakes were made. I'm sure I did not win the first one at all. I didn't want to win the second play of it either. But the artwork, the way that it come together, the simple gameplay that it was, but it was so satisfying and still rich to play. It was great. So she believes it's being released at Gen Con this year.
Yeah.
But it's not available yet.
She did think that we would get it in Canada though around then too, because I said, that means good. New Year. She said, no, I think it should be here. So hopefully we'll get it.
That's great. Christmas. I think Palmetto Way is on the
I already got
list for
on that
getting
list.
Yeah.
I'm on the list
Yeah.
for if
So
they pre-order it. Yeah.
yes, so that's super exciting. We can't wait to have this one. It just was such a nice, fun little filler game.
Yeah.
But that was just so cute and adorable. So,
Mhm.
from what I understand, it's going to be in the similar box size as Diced Veggies. So, it'll be like that size game.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, so that's Café Baras.
Yeah, that's
My
my
number 8.
actually number 7 was Café
Oh,
Baras.
cool.
Yeah. I loved playing it. I did terrible because at the beginning you all start with one card, so it's either a coffee or a tea on it, I believe.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I had thought, and it was clearly in front of me that I had coffee, but I had thought I had tea. So I also had the creature comfort card that needed 2 tea and a cupcake. And so I'm like, okay, I already got a tea. Oh no, it needed a tea and 2 cupcakes. So I'm like, I just need to get 2 cupcakes and then I can serve this perfect customer, right? And I had the clock, which was the ambiance.
Right.
So I went searching and I got these 2 cupcakes and I built them. And then all of a sudden I look, I'm like, I have coffee. So then it took me, and there was no tea to be found. I could not get a tea. Every time there was one, someone drafted it. So it took me like 12 rounds to be able to build this one. But it was my mistake because I clearly didn't look at my card carefully. I think
Right.
we were talking at the beginning about who's the coffee drinkers and who's the tea drinkers. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker. And there was, I can't remember, somebody else was like, yeah, I prefer tea, maybe cherry.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh yeah, so that means I have the tea. No, I didn't have the tea. But the art is so cute. And it's cool because there's abilities on every card, or most cards too. So it's not just the mechanic of the, building. It's those will give you something or have an ongoing ability or just some cool things that I can't wait to get the final copy
it's going to be great.
Yeah, so that's my number 7.
Nice.
First crossover.
My number 7 is Mlem Space Agency. And this one was published in 2024. It's a Reiner Knizia game. And it's a really neat kind of push your luck game. You have this long neoprene mat that goes in the middle and has this path that'll go through different moons and planets and all that stuff. And each spot along the path that you can stop at has like numbers associated with it. And what's going to happen is you have this little rocket board and everybody has like different cats, and the cats will have different abilities. And you take turn being like the mission commander or whatever, and you run the rocket. So if I'm in the front, I run the rocket. Everybody can, in turn order, would kind of tuck in behind me. And I'm the one who rolls the dice this round and makes the decision. So I have all these dice that I can roll. Now, the first one, like you have from 1 to 4, I want to say. 1 to 4, and then you'll have like a little rocket, or it's not rocket, it's like a little comet that either has a 1 or a 2 on it. No, it has a comet that has a 1. But so depending on where you are, so we start at the beginning, you need to roll a 1, a 2, or a comet to be able to move forward. So you take all the dice, you roll them, and if you roll a comet and you decide to spend the comet, you can re-roll the comet. So that's good. But if you roll a 2 and I want to spend the 2, then the rocket's going to go up by 2. The little rocket token goes up by 2. And that dice now is spent. So we got to put that away and you roll the rest of the dice. But now wherever you land, so now we need a 2 and a 3, let's say. So then we roll all the dice again that's left. And then I can spend all the 2s and 3s that I have, if I wish, and move the rocket along. So maybe I roll a 2 2s and 1 3. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to spend just the 1 3, move forward by 3, put that dice away. Then I take the other ones. Now, every time you stop, you have the option, everybody has the option of, do you want to disembark here or you continue on with the ride? And you can disembark when we reach moons or planets. And the moon will have like a point value to it. Like the first few moons are very low points, but eventually if you make it down the path further, they're worth more points. The planet will have that. And one thing we kept forgetting is you got to keep track of the order that you get on the planet. But whoever has the most cats on one planet gets the most points. And then the second place and third place points is by whoever got there first. And you have that going on as well, and you can go to the different planets. But then each of the cats have different abilities where maybe it'll allow you to go one space ahead of one space behind from where it's landed when you disembark. Or maybe you have a parachute, because if you roll the dice and no dice matches the location you're at, that's it, you're done, you bust. And if you didn't get off and you're still on the rocket and you don't have the parachute, you don't put your cat out this turn and you have to go back. Like, it has a track. You do this so many times. And then you just pick another cat to go on. This cat doesn't go away. You could put it on again. But you just don't get to place one of your cat this round.
Sounds like an upgraded Can't Stop.
It's different, though, because we're all on that same path together. So when I'm pushing my luck for everybody, but then you can decide to get off at any time. I think there's one where it's like a hot air balloon game that might be similar, but I haven't played it, so I don't know. But it's very interesting. Now, if for any reason I got off and I was the commander, then whoever's in second place, if they didn't get off, they become the commander and they take over rolling the dice, right? So it just has really neat mechanism to it. It's a simple game, but it's just kind of, and the more I play it, the more I like it. This was my second play of it, and it was just kind of, now you got one, like if you go all the way to the top, it's like there's no way we're going all the way up there, so I'm not gonna try, but you could, but unless it's like, and that would be like, it's like, nope, I'm getting off here, and then you guys make it. It's like, man, but it's just a really interesting game. It's different. Yeah, like Can't Stop would have like a similar feel, kinda. Like, but because it's push your luck
part of it, yeah.
Yeah, the push your luck aspect, but it feels different to play. But yeah, so that's my number 7, Mlem Space Agency.
Awesome. All right, my number 6 is Maglev Metro, made in 2021 by Ted Alspach. Now, this one I'd been looking at it ever since it came out. And then I thought, I don't know, because I don't play a lot of pick up and deliver games. So I think that's what it was. I was like, but do I want to own it? I don't know. I'm not a big pick up and deliver lover. Anyway, we got to play this because our friend Murray had the game and he was going to lend it to me. I had lent him a game. And so he said, well, you take this and try it out. And so I thought, well, we did not have anything to play Sunday morning, or we didn't have anything planned. And I said, he was playing a game that was getting set up. And I'm like, is this a long teach? Like, would you be able to teach us quick? He's like, oh yeah. So I'm like, perfect. Then I don't have to take it. And because sometimes when you borrow games, you have you're like, where do I keep them? Where do I put them? And I don't have space as it is. So anyway, we got to play this game. And so what it is you are, you have this little subway train that will fit up to 4 people in it. And you all start on different stations, and you are going to build track from the station to just empty spots, but hopefully to other possible new stations. And the track is really neat because it's this clear acrylic tile with your route on it. And so people can build over top of it, not blocking your route, but it'll put a different route on it. So if I have a straight route, right? Yeah, if I have a straight route, mine is slightly to the right, and say yours would be slightly to the left. Or if I'm curving it, yours would be a different curve if you put it on there. So you never block anybody, but you're building on these routes, and what you're really doing is just trying to pick up people and deliver them to where they want to be. Now you have this player board in front of you with all these little spots to put all these different meeples, and there's these robot meeples and these colored meeples. The robots are silver, gold, and bronze, and then you have different colored of the other ones. So none of the colored ones are built yet, only stations for the robots. So in order to be able to build the color ones, you have to fill this part of the board that will give you even the option of building those. And it's neat because in the middle of your board is your action part, where you, depending on how many robots you have, that's how strong that action is. And you get to take 2 actions unless you upgrade your actions, which none of us did till I think maybe at the very end. Did somebody?
It took a lot to do that, and
I
then
don't think
there's
any of
other.
us, which might have been smart, because then you could get 3 actions, but you have to give up 4 people to do that, which is a lot, because you want to use your robots to upgrade the middle actions, which let you build an extra tile or move an extra bit, because moving around the
pick
board
up
sometimes,
more, have more room. Yeah, it was just a lot of options, like a lot of choices, good choices to make.
Yeah, and so you can like refill a tile, which means you'll pull a bunch of meeples out of the bag and put them on there. And it can't be the color of the station. So if it's a gold station, if you pull out a gold robot, then he goes back in the bag. So it's just neat. Like that's all you're really doing, but it's very puzzly, and you just have to kind of figure out, okay, what is my plan here? So I thought I had this real good plan of me building all the way around kind of thing, but then, and so I did connect some, and with some of my goal cards, I did one, and then I thought I did another one, but then when I looked afterwards, it was wrong how I did it. But it's neat because you have the 3 objectives that you can fulfill, but you have to fill up your board of the objectives. Like, so you need 3 people on each one in order to actually score them. So it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And Cherry ended up buying it, like one of my our gaming friends at the flea market. Someone was selling it new and shrink. So
nice.
We now have it in our family, which I like. So
there you go.
That was my number 6, Maglev Metro.
Yes, that one was really cool. Mm-hmm. I quite enjoyed it. So my number 6 is an old game. It was published in 2004, and I had signed up to play this. And then after that, it came up for sale at the just on the marketplace on Facebook. So I bought it, and that's the Downfall of Pompeii. So it was created by Klaus Jürgen Reed. But this one was interesting. So you have the board, and the board is like this city map. And you have in here a bunch of little buildings that are numbered. And on the board, there's a section that has a cutout in it. And you take this plastic thing and you roll it up and you kind of tuck it in there. And that's the volcano. And then and I guess like you're going to be sacrificing people trying to appease the volcano. And then eventually the volcano erupts, and then you're trying to escape the city and have the most saved people. So we all have cubes of a different color. And at the first half of the game, we're going to be playing, and we're playing cards that have like a number on it. So that allows you to put people in that numbered building. But some of the buildings have kind of like 2 wings, so you can put on one side or the other. Eventually, a card comes up that starts allowing you to kind of bring out relatives as well. So then if I was like, okay, great, so this card's out. So I have the 3 buildings. I'm going to put one on this side, which allows me to take an extra guy and put it either on the other side of that building or in another building of the same color or in a neutral building. So you're putting all these guys out. And then there'll be some cards that comes up that will be like, okay, we need to do a sacrifice. And whoever draws that card picks one of the tokens or one of the bits to throw it in the volcano. So you put that bit and you throw it in the volcano. And ideally, you would do that towards building that you're hoping to go, but people are blocking you, right? So you sacrifice those ones, not your own people either. And then eventually another card is going to come out that triggers the eruption. So now the volcano's erupting, and you take turns drawing volcano tile, and then there's like some location on the board where the volcano would start erupting. So it's like, okay, well, I pulled, it has this icon, so that starts over there. And then you keep pulling tiles, and then depending on where the icon match, where it goes. So if it's the same icon, you have to kind of spread from its lava that's already out there. Now you're going to try to spread where other players' cubes are, but away from your own cube. And then on your turn, you can move your cubes. And depending on how many people is on that same little square as you is how many moves you get. So if you have 3 cubes there, then you can move by 3 spaces. And you're trying to make it to an exit and get out of town. And when they get out of town, they're saved and you put them in your save pile. But as the lava progresses and spreads, like we're blocking out exits, and that by the time there's only one exit, and some of the people are obviously not going to make it, and then you just keep throwing people in the volcano. Now, it was so interesting. It's super simple play, but it was really neat. It was fun. It's mean, like you're burning the players' things, so be prepared for that. But because this is like the whole point of the game, I think it kind of takes away from the you're picking on me, because that's the whole game, right?
It's the whole game. Yeah, you're going into it knowing, and it's not a long game either.
No, and it plays fairly quick, but it was just so neat and satisfying and simple and straightforward, but I quite enjoyed it. So that's my number 6, The Downfall of Pompeii.
How old is that one? Do you know?
2004.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's 20 years old.
Yeah. And so I found mine at Bianca's, so at the Liquidation World.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it was one of those $12 ones or whatever. And I remember that was about a year ago when I bought it. And I'm like, I think I've heard of this. And then I looked it up and played it. And I'm like, this is a good game. Like some of those old years, you're like, they had some good ideas. Now, did you play a 4-player game of it?
Yeah.
How long did it take?
I don't remember. Like it didn't feel long.
No, I think it's about an hour-long game, if that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I played it with 3, and that was it. But it was fun. My family liked it, actually. Because it's like one of those, take-thats that they love.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, my number 5 is Wizards of the Grimoire, made in 2022 by Cole Banning and Joe Banning. Now, this one, it's funny because Kayla in our gaming group, she had mentioned this a while ago in the chat and was like, has anyone played this? And I'd never heard of it. And I just said, nope, not me. And then I had seen it on Board Game Garden. So Jenna on Board Game Garden was talking about it. And then I think she did a playthrough of it and just looked at the cards. And I'm like, this looks really cool. And it is just a 2-player game. But so then I tried it on BGA, got absolutely demolished because I couldn't figure it out on there. I hadn't learned it beforehand anyway. So I don't know why I thought I could learn it on there, because that's not something I can typically do, is learn a game from there. I need to learn it by seeing it and feeling it and touching it on the table and playing it. But anyway, so then I had talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it on here or just in our group chat. And then Kayla, one of our friends and listeners, she's like, I have this game. I said, well, next time you come, bring it. So she brought it one game day, but we didn't get a chance to play it, but she left it with me for a while. And me and John played the heck out of it. He loves it too. It's just a 2-player battle game again, but so different. It's a wizard theme. You are wizards trying to become the best wizard of all. And how you do that is, it's not a deck builder, but it's a card game. And so you draft these spells, and there's 3 different types of spells. There's like an attack spell. I can't remember what the other 2 are called, but one will like give you income basically, which is mana, and one will help you clear off your spells, because you draft these spells and then you will cool off your spells. So if you have any spells that you've cast, they will have mana on them, which is cards, and you will take 1 off each of them. And so you're trying to kind of clear them all off because you want to recast them again. But so you take them off, and then you get to pick up 3 mana cards, and then you can cast your new one. So if you have any empty ones plus the new one you just got, you can cast those again. And they cost mana, and they cost anywhere from 1 to 3. Actually, there's some that cost 4 cards. So you put these cards on, and then you get to either deal the attack, or some of them will say like take 5 mana from the deck and give you more income. So you're trying to balance out attacking the other player, but you also need mana in order to do that. And if you have a bunch of attack cards with no mana, then you can't actually use them. So it's quite neat because you'll deal your attack with your spells, and then you can do a basic one at the end if you have a mana left in your hand, and then it's the other player's turn, and they will pick out a new spell and place it down, cool their spells again, which is take 1 off and add new mana, and then cast new ones. So it's really cool. And again, the art on these are just awesome. Like, it's so colorful and vibrant, and the cards are just so thick and like the backs of them are embossed, so they're almost hard to shuffle, but just holding them, they like feel like gems in your hand, but they're just cards. And it's just so fun. We played quite a few times. There's actually an app that I can't get a hold of. Kayla got it, and now you can't get it right now, but it's so cool because it's just on your phone, and it has a health tracker that you'll just like up or down for each of your health. It's so nice and easy, but for some reason it's not working right now to download. But if you have it, then you're good.
You can still use it.
But you could use it for any of those games where, you know, you have to keep track of it instead of using cards or like one of those little round trackers or something. But yeah, it's really cool. And I thought it was maybe brand new, but it came out in 2022. But if you ever get a chance to play this, you should try it out. It is a 2-player only game, but it's called Wizards of the Grimoire. It's on BGA too.
One I would like, yeah.
Yeah, I think you would like it.
Nice. Well, my number 5 is a crossover, and that is Maglev Metro, because we played it together. Yep. And this one, okay, it was cool. First of all, the components are super neat. The fact that you have these clear tiles that you can kind of see, it kind of creates a Metro map like you would see at the Metro. Like you see like the colored lines and stuff. So it was cool. Now, I totally messed this one up because at first, you can pick up the robots, no problem, but you can't pick up other colored passengers until you've unlocked, so you have access to those other passengers. But you need to place a couple of tokens on there to make those available. And I managed to unlock 2 of them, and then I ran out of robots to be able to unlock more, and I was like, oh, great. Well, that's it. I'm like, and actually thinking back now, you can do one of the action where you can relocate one of your robots, but then that feels so wasteful. So,
well, and you run out of robots after a while, like in the bag, and you're like, now what do I do?
There was none in the bag. Yeah. There's none on the map anymore. There was like, I needed a silver, and there was 1 silver, and then Carla picked it up. So it's like, you don't even need it really, but. Yeah, so, but it was really interesting. And then how you map where you can go, because you can only have 2 lines going in per station. So you can't just create this mayhem line. But it was very interesting. I did quite enjoy that. The components were cool with like the, because your board had like an overlay so it fit it all in. The robots wouldn't go flying by accident. Except for you. You managed to do that once.
What did I do?
You knocked your robots out. But like they're indented. So
I knew. Cherry's like, and I was just thinking you're doing so well over there because I knock everything
and she's
over.
Drinking tea or something, but the lid's not on, so she's dribbling all over herself at the same
time. My name
too.
tag was full of tea, and I'm like, this says it all, literally. Just look at my name tag. And people are like, how did you get it inside?
And you didn't even notice right away. You just kept drinking. So like, put your lid on.
How is this not working?
But yeah, no, the game was very interesting. Yeah. So that's my number 5, Maglev Metro.
Did Cherry end up winning this one? I forget.
I think so. It wasn't me. I know that for sure. I could go check. I have it right here. It
was pretty close, but I completely forget the scoring when we did this. But
yeah, let's see here. We scored. Oh, I didn't mark the score, but Cherry won.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and she bought it because she really liked it.
Nice, it is cool.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, my number 4 was Set a Watch, made in 2019 by Mike Knack. I have it written down, and maybe it's Nade. Can't read my writing. And Todd Walsh. Oh, I have it right here. Yes, it's Nade.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wait, is it? No, it just shows Todd. I have the game right here, but it just shows Walsh. Damn it. Oh, well. It's something like that. Anyway, this one, our friend Ashley has been raving about this game probably ever since I met her. And I've kind of always been like, I don't know, not really for me. And then I been into these like battle games lately that I was like, oh, maybe I'll check this one out. And I found it on the used market. So I bought it. But before I actually received it, I said to her, okay, bring that game and let's try it. And she was so excited. She's like, yeah. And so we played a 4-player game at my house once, but and she taught us, and it was so fun. We actually won. And so then at Gobfest, I pulled it out with Cherry and Merv, friend of ours, and I'm like, okay, let's play this. And so thinking that I would like know exactly how to play it, which I did not, because she kind of ran all the like how the cards work and you know what gets added and whatnot. So it was kind of a rough game because I kept having to look back, and then I think I got a few things wrong, but now I know exactly how to play. But it is so fun. You each play a character, and depending how many people you have, if you have less than 4, then somebody will have to play 2. And if you play 2 players, you'll each play 2. And so you are trying to fight basically like all these different monsters, and you have 9 rounds, and one of you will stay back at camp. And so you will like keep the fire going and do different things there. And the other 3 will go and they'll fight this line of monsters. And so you flip this camp card every round, and it'll tell you how many monsters will be there. And, you know, it'll sometimes give you a benefit, or it'll hinder you in some way. You all have different types of range. So if you have like the arrow, you'll get to have different range in fighting. Whereas if you don't, then you can only fight the first character or the first beast that comes up. So if you, depending what your fire is at, because you have to keep trying to like build up your fire, you'll get to reveal more before you choose who you're going to fight. So you'll say you have 6 that you have to fight. You'll just lay them all face down, and then you'll flip depending on what you're allowed to reveal. Say you have 2, you'll flip 2, and you'll see what their health is, like their strength. Sometimes they'll have something on the bottom that is like, if revealed, then this happens, and it's usually always bad. And or if in first position. So if it's not in first position, you might want to kill that one before it gets to first position or whatnot. And the neat thing is you all have 3 dice. Some of you will have D8s, some of you will have D6s. And then you get to use those as attack. But you also have these little ability cards on your player mat, and you have 5 in your deck, and you start with 3, and they all do different things. So you could either use a dice as an attack. So if I had a 6, I could use it as a 6 attack, or I could use it to use one of my abilities and place it on that. So sometimes like you might have something that says, defeat the last character in line. You won't be able to see what it is, but you just do, and you place a dice there. Sometimes it's a real big tough guy, or sometimes it's like a little eagle that is only 3 strength or something. And the other thing you do is you can flip those cards to use as well, but then they are exhausted and you can't use them again until you get your health back. It's just it's a neat little puzzle on how to use everybody's abilities and dice in the most effective like way. I just love that kind of puzzle. And so I've played it solo a couple times too, and I really like it. But I do like it with other people because it's just talking about, okay, how we're going to do this. And then once you get to the 9th round, everybody goes to the fight, and you might have built cards up that add to that fight as well that you have to beat. But it's just so neat. And if you ever wanted to try it, and before you buy it, there's a print and play, and it's called Pocket Watch. And it's so I printed it out too. So it has this many cards. That's it, 18 cards.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I actually built or printed them on like a cardboard, and then I just sleeved them like that. So, but it's like a quicker version. It's like an 8-round game, which is nice because it will take basically half the time to try, and you just need the dice and then just some little tokens. But it is so fun. I am so glad that I finally got to play it, and we've got like a little expansion coming that is a whole separate standalone game, but it includes things you can buy, so like new weapons or like potions or things like that that'll add to it. And I think you can mix and match the characters too in the game, which is neat. But yeah, that's my number 4, Set a Watch.
That sounds cool. Yeah,
you haven't played that one yet, hey?
No, I have not. The little print and play is kind of cool, like to have like a quick taste of it.
Yeah, and look at how like rich the art is on it. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, it's bright.
It's like
I can see it's bright, but yeah, no, it looks cool. Very cool. What's I think like the Sherlock Consulting Detective, but the Bureau Investigation one had one like that too.
Yeah,
like
they
the
had a
print and
print and
play
play,
for you to
which
try.
is so neat.
I bought that game since, but the French version.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I figured this is like solo game. I'll do it in French, practice my French.
Perfect.
But yeah, okay. Off track a little bit. Let's go back to our list. My number 4 is a game that I think everybody had played it except for me, so I signed up to finally get it played, and that is Atiwa. And this one was published in 2022 by Uwe Rosenberg, and it was cool. I quite enjoyed it. What was neat too with like the game mechanism, it reminded me a little bit of Terra Mystica, where as you fill things on your, like in your village, and you fill like your board, you move them off your player board onto these grid.
Oh, yeah.
And true. Then it gives you access to more things. But as you spend that, it moves back onto the player board and it recovers them. But it was really neat. So you would have like these tiles and you could purchase more tiles. And it's kind of worker placement where you place your workers and activate different actions you want to do. And then it could allow you to get villagers, or it'll allow you to train your villagers so that they can keep bats. You can get trees or oranges. And we kept calling them pumpkins, although you wouldn't grow pumpkins in a tree, but they look like pumpkins. And then you have goats that you can get. And then goats kind of free up your thing, but they give you kind of
constant food, right?
Right, like a constant food. But if you don't have enough, you can eat the goat. But then they go back and recover that.
Milk, and then if not,
okay. So yeah, that would make sense. It would get milk, but then you could also eat the goat. And then that was one thing. Like I kept getting these animals, but I kept eating them because you do, as through Uwe Rosenberg, you got to feed all the villagers that you have. So, and then the more, like you can eat the pumpkin. You can eat the oranges as well, but one orange will feed one villager while a goat will feed 3. And there's all of that going on.
You can eat bats, but it was, if you're not trained too.
Yeah, I never did eat any of my bats.
That's good.
And then you can send them once around. You can kind of spend an orange to send 3 into a cave and attract them into the cave. Mm-hmm. And doing that allows you to plant a tree where they were, and an orange, so it kind of gives you those abilities. Then you would bring them back and put them, and it's kind of a constant balance of trying to bring things into your board, but making sure you have enough room to hold everything as well. It was quite enjoyable. I really enjoyed that one, and that's my number 4, Atiwa.
Awesome. Yeah, I was hoping you get to play. Did you own it? Did you buy it?
No. Oh, no, I don't own it. I just played the copy at Gobfest.
I really like it, and it's one of his quicker games. That's for sure. Yeah. But it still feels crunchy, like his crunchy ones. Mm-hmm. But they're not like it's not a 3-hour long game. Yeah. Awesome. Well, my number 3 is an oldie, and I hadn't played this in a while. But before Gobfest, I brought it to the table to relearn it, make sure I knew all the rules, because I was teaching a friend and listener that was going to be there, and I was so excited to play this again. And this is Dead of Winter, made in 2014 by Jonathan Gilmore and Isaac Vega. Now, we played 2 games of this there, me and Matthew, and my dice rolls were atrocious. I rolled
terrible.
I rolled that what do you call it? The red nasty dice. I think I got I got injured or a bite every time I rolled it. I think I rolled a blank once out of 2 games. We played 2 games because it was so fast that we lost. And I had played with John before, like to relearn it, and we totally won. I'm like, this game is easy. Yeah, I'll use this scenario when I teach him. And then it was like, oh, nope. But it was just because of my dice rolls. They were absolutely terrible. But it was still fun. I love this game and how you are basically just trying to fight these zombies and stay alive and get food and gather medicine, because you're getting injured no matter what you do. You're going to, if you're playing with me, you're going to get injured. And just how you search for things. And the neat thing about was you go to these locations and search for items because you're trying to get gas, because you can move around the board, from location to location without rolling that nasty red dice if you have gas. You need medicine to heal all your wounds that you will get. Because if you get just a normal wound, it goes onto your card. But if you get a frostbite wound, it goes on your card, and then every round it gives you a wound. So once you have 3 wounds, you're dead. Oh, we probably had died 4 or 5 times each game. We went through characters like crazy, and it was hilarious because I'm like, it's really not like this doesn't happen all the time. I'm trying to explain to him. I hope he still enjoyed the game, but yeah, so you're going around to these locations trying to gather things, weapons. You need the weapons because then you can kill off more zombies with like an attack. You need to find things for your objective because you have a main objective of the game, but then you have a round objective every round where you might have to put in 2 food, 2 medicine, 2 gas on top of the food you need to feed all the people in the colony, which is where you all start. So it's just like another, big type of puzzle of how am I going to do all this and how am I going to meet that main objective where, I think the first one we played, we had to get rid of all the zombies in the non-colony locations. And there's 6 of those locations and they all started with 3 each. I think we played on when it's cooperative, you have to play on hardcore mode, which maybe was a mistake when I was teaching the game. But, and then the second game we had to get samples from all these zombies. So every zombie we'd kill, we'd have to roll a dice and get 4 or higher to collect these samples, which was just 8 samples. Sounds simple. This is the one me and John played and we won in 3 rounds. No, we died in 3 rounds because of my dice rolls, but it's still so fun. And then you read out these crossroad cards every turn. So I hold a card that say it's Matthew's turn and I look, and if something triggers it, so it might say if this person goes to the library and does a search there, then this will come into effect. And then you read this card and it gives you options. So it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. And you'll heal the other person will choose one of those options. Sometimes it'll say everybody votes for this option. And the neat thing about this game is when you play with multiple people, you can play where there's possibly a traitor. So you will deal out these cards at the beginning and it'll, you have 1 traitor card in there. And so you get 2 and you get to choose 1. So you might get a traitor card, but you might decide I don't want to be a traitor. And then there would be no traitor and you would know for a fact there's no traitor, but nobody else knows that. And it's just funny because it's when you don't know if there is one, you're suspicious of everyone because you don't know, are they actually fulfilling the round objective? Because those cards will all go face down and then you shuffle them at the end of the round. So you don't know who put those in there because you may have needed 3 medicine and that person threw in a junk and said, I have put another medicine in here. And so you trusted them. And then you look and you only have 2 medicine and you have not completed the objective. You lose morale, which gets you closer to losing the game. But it's just such a fun game. And it's an oldie. What did I say? What year? 2014. So 10 years old now already. But yeah, that's my number 3, Dead of Winter.
Yeah, you did. It was funny. I got there and I got at the table just as you rolled. It's like, oh my God, I finally rolled a blank. That was the only one. And then you guys just died. And like, okay, let's try again. And then you died again. So it's hilarious. All right, my number 3 is also one that is from 2014. It's a game that I own and quite enjoy, and we ended up playing, me and Kayla. She wanted to play it, plus another couple that was attending Gobfest. And this game is so good. And that's 5 Tribes.
Oh, I love that.
So you place your tile in this grid, and on each one you put 3 meeples, and the meeples will be from different colors, like a combination of different colors. And it's a Mancala style mechanism. Yeah. So what will happen is if you pick a tile and you take all the meeples that are on there, so if it's 3 meeples, you're going to move 3 tiles away. And every tile you move to, you need to drop 1 meeple behind. And on the last tile that you land on, you need to land on a tile that has a meeple matching the color that lands on it. And then it activates that color's ability, and it activates the tile as well. And if you're able to remove all the meeples that are there, and that was the last colored meeple there, and they all come out, then you get to put your little camel to claim that tile, and then the tile value would be part of your score. Now, some of them also kind of would allow you to add oasis or palaces on there, which would increase your score as well. If you have the red meeple and you finish with the red meeple, it allows you to assassinate a meeple however many red meeples you have spaces away, which is great because if it'd be like, okay, well, there's only one meeple there, so I'm going to assassinate this one. Now that there's no meeple, I can put my camel on it, and this is my tile as well. The green meeple allows you to buy cards at the market, and the market cards kind of act as a resource management. So the more of different resources that you have, the more points it's worth. The white meeples are worth points, but they also allow you to be spent for different things that might come up. And then the yellow meeples are also worth points. But so it's just so good. It was just so good. I just really enjoy this game. So I think this was Kayla's first time playing it.
Yeah, it was.
I think she enjoyed it, but she's like, it was one of those where it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then some of the other players like, hey, come on, get going with your turn. But so analysis paralysis can be a problem. Honestly, with our game, it wasn't really very much. Nobody took a really long time. And then at the start of each round, you bid for what position you want to be. Like if you see something you want to do, well, then you better hurry and do it first. So then you bid for first position so that you can go and do that action first before somebody else sees it and ends up doing it. But yeah, this game is just so well made. I quite enjoy it. It was so fun. I got to play it again, and it's still so fun. That's my number 3, 5 tribes.
Yeah, that is an awesome game, and it's so unique. I can't really think of another game that you could really say it's like
compared
this.
To, yeah.
It's just so unique. All right. Well, my number 2 it was actually your game. I got you to bring it because I couldn't get into the hosted teach of it. So I'm like, will you bring this and I'll drag some other people out to play? And that was Apiary, made in 2023 by Connie Vogelman. Now, I had played it once before. A friend had came and taught us this. And we played it once at my house, but we got to play it here with friends. And Roberta played this with us as well. And I just love this game. I didn't initially this didn't draw me to the game with a theme so much. I think because of the space theme, but it's just so cute and adorable. You have little space bees, and you start with 3 of them, and they have little numbers on their bellies and sides and backs, and that tells you what strength they're at. So you start with, I think, 2 1s and a 2, and then you will use them to go to worker placement spots. So there's all different kinds of spots you can go to, but you do have this player mat that you are trying to build up with tiles, and there's different ways of getting these tiles, and you need different strengths to do that. You need resources. But the neat thing is that you have to decide when you draw your person back, because you can get bumped or you can choose to retrieve them all. Is if you're going to, well, if you retrieve them all, they do bump up, but if somebody bumps one back to you, you can choose to bump it up, like from a 2 to a 3, or you can put it in this little resting area and wait for other ones so that you can just retrieve them all and activate your farm tiles. Now, each faction has like an ability that they have on their board, basically, or something throughout the game. You can get little seed cards that are so cool. I always love getting all the seed cards because you can play as many as you want each round for the top little bonus on them. Or you can, if you had a 4 level bee, you can place it and plant it under your player board, and that is like an end game scoring. So there's like so many different things you could do to gain points. You could just build up these big expensive tiles that give you a lot of points or end game points. They're also hard to get, but it's just like a really cool puzzle how you figure out, how I'm going to maximize my points at the end. You have this little queen track as well that you move up, and the higher you are up on it at the end, the more points you get. It's just like a cool point salad game, but like very puzzly, and I really like the mechanics of it. This is, I believe, her first game that she designed, and then she went on to design Wormspan, which I also love. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else she has coming out in the future, and that was my number 2, Apiary.
Actually, apiaries are the game of the week that was showcased by Game and Couple this week.
Oh, awesome.
And I had shared that on a few different groups, and I was like, I don't know how they came up with the theme Space Bees.
Yeah.
And somebody commented that it's because the designer actually is a beekeeper.
Oh.
And somebody
cool.
had kind of did a joke about doing a space game with or something like that. So one of the group that I had shared this to anyways, it was like a whole discussion and I referred to a book that they shared as well. So I'd have to go back and read the comments, but I thought I was like, how'd they come up with this theme? But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, and I punched a game the day before because it was still in shrinker. I was like, oh, better punch it so it's ready to play. So yeah. Now my number 2 is another really old game. This one I went to Gobfest and I went on their website because they use cardboard events, which I gotta say I really like that platform for board game conventions. And I know Falcom will be using it as well. So I'm a big fan of it. And then I was looking at games that was being played because you can register for the games that Gobfest is hosting, but you can also host your own event if you want to play a game and invite people to join. And somebody had posted that they were going to be playing Railways of the World. And I was like, oh my God, I love that game. So I want to sign up for it. So I signed up for it. And it was the Australian map, which I don't have. I bought this game secondhand a while back. And so I have the North American map. I have the Portugal map. I have like a few other maps, but I don't have Australia. And I haven't played all the maps I do have, but this one is so good. This is definitely pick up and deliver. You build trains, you build these routes, and you have like these different towns all around this map. And these towns have a different color that that kind of shows the goods they want to receive. And each town also has kind of random cubes that are dropped off of different colors, and that's the cubes that you can go and pick up. So maybe, this town is black, so I can bring black cubes over to this one. Then I score, 1 point per each cube or per each track that I traveled to bring that goods to. And then it moves me up on the income track, so I make more money the more goods I deliver. But you can also spend some of that money to upgrade your engine so that your train can actually travel further. Now, if I can travel 2 tracks because I'm a level 2 engine, I can deliver cubes 2 towns away, and then that would move me up on the track up to 2 income. It's so good. This one is so good. I just absolutely love it. I was so glad I signed up for it. It was great fun. And like the whole time you have no money, so you have to buy bonds to get money. And it's kind of a neat balance of, should I get bonds to get money so I can do more tracks and get these things? Or should I try to just wait till I collect my income so I can do, and love it, love it, love it, love it. That's my number 2, Railways of the World.
Awesome. I haven't played this one, but I was signed up for it. Awesome. I was signed up for it, but then I think it was played at a time when I was planned to teach something. So I had to bump out of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my number 1 is the oldest on the list here and one of my favorite games. And we played it the last game of the convention, and it was just perfect because this is a Zen game for me. I could play it any time, but it was the perfect time to play it because I was tired and I just wanted to sit back and chill. And this is Viticulture. This was made originally in 2013. We did play the Essential Edition version, which was 2015. Just a little bit of updated on the board. And then we also played with the Tuscany expansion, which has the brand new board with the star area control. And then we can also build the orange buildings. So this one, you are making wine. And in order to do that, you go to these worker placement spots and you will harvest. First, you will plant your grapes or your vines, and then you will harvest the grapes, and then you will turn the grapes into wine, and then you will fulfill orders. But the neat thing about the game that I find so intriguing is the card play. So you have different visitors that you can draw from, and you have your summer visitors or your winter visitors. And then you also can draw like your green vines, you can draw your order cards, and then they have these orange buildings. Now some of these orange buildings are so powerful. I had 2 very powerful ones that I could go to build train a worker for free. And I would get $1 when I would do it. Now it cost me $7 to build that building, but then I could train all my workers there. I just had to place a worker to train one, and I could use them in that round, where typically when you go to train a worker, you can't use them until the next round. So it was so neat because it was just 3 of us playing. We all knew how to play. We were just teaching Mur because he had just got the whole big expansion and the big wine crate. And so I was just, I just had to explain a few of the upgraded rules for the new one. But other than that, we all just kind of sat back and we just like all zenned out on this game. Cherry loves this game. Mur loves this game. So it was so awesome. And it ended in a tie. And then it was funny because Cherry and I tie a lot. It's like typical for us to tie. And then, someone wins the tiebreaker. And so she won the tiebreaker. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, wait, we didn't count our buildings because our orange buildings are each worth 1 point at the end. And I'm like, she had 1 and I had 2. So I actually would have won, but it's
by
just so
1
funny
point.
how it gets so
nice.
Close. Yeah, by 1 point. But it was so awesome to play. And I just love that game so much. And every time, it's like 5 tribes. Every time I play my older loved games, I'm like, oh, I love these so much. Like, I'm so glad I have them and can play them forever. But nice. Yeah, that's my number 1, Viticulture.
Very nice. Yeah, I do like that one. It's a good game. I haven't played in a long time. I really should dust it off. And I have a lot of games that should be dusted off and played again, though. So, all right. My number 1 was the last game we played on Saturday, and it was just the most epic game that came to like the most epic ending, and it was just amazing. And this is Dune Imperium Uprising. This one was published in 2023 and it's created by Paul Dennen, and I don't own this game, but I will. I need it. I must have this in my collection. And then Lee is reading the Dune book series right now, and we've been watching the movies. We haven't gone and watched Dune 2 yet, but so the theme appeals already. This is like a deck building, worker placement, area control game. Like I guess a bunch of people are comparing it to Lost Ruin of Arnak. It does not feel like it playing it, but I get
that the first one though that they compared it to. This is the second.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and I don't know. I've never played Dune before, so I don't know how it compares to the older version. But to me, like the gameplay did not have that same feel at all, other than there's all sorts of mechanism thrown in.
Is it a deck builder?
I could get that. Yeah. Okay. So you start with your deck and then you have your cards, and each of these decks are going to have symbol that shows where you can go. So that dictates your worker placement portion, which it really sucks if you want to go over here and you don't have the card for it. It's like, well, darn. So then you could play the card to be able to activate an ability and go to that location as well. Now you have, I want to say 2 or 3 workers, but you can go and unlock another one partway through. And I think it's 2 and you can unlock another one. Now we played the very deluxeified version, so it was all like miniatures. It looked great, but I think I like the look of the retail version with the wooden meeples better. So probably that's what I'm going to try to get. And I'm sure it would save me money as well. But so you place your workers and you go at the different location. Some of them kind of allows you to go up these different tracks. Some of them allows you to collect spice because you're getting spice or water. Those are the main 2 resources in this game, and money. And then some of them allows you to send some of your warriors into the fight, and you kind of have this main board where you can kind of send people in to fight, and you can kind of decide how many you would send in. And eventually, if you get a hook, you can also send in these big worms, Dune characters or whatever in there as well. And the benefit of them is they double your reward for being there, because you get a reward for first, second, and third place. So if you win the battle, depending on the card that was flipped that round, you would get a certain reward. If you have a worm in the battle, it doubles your reward. Like the whole thing was so cool. It was really interesting, and I'm doing terrible. I'm kind of in last position all along. And then we get to the last round, and I finally have my hook. So I have a worm in the battle, and I have able to put everything in this battle. So at the end, my battle kind of value, I'm at 28, which was a lot. So I end up winning first place, which allows me to get a victory point, because you're playing to 10 victory points. It's it's not a quick game, but it's not one that you get tons of victory points per se. So, and it allows me to get a victory points, but I have my worm, so it gives me 2 victory point, plus I can sell some of my coins and purchase a victory point. So I'm doing that. And I go from last to tied for first position with our friend Travis. So we go to tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is whoever has the most spice. And he won by 1 spice. It was unreal. Like, it was just like that whole game, like the tension that it builds, like, oh my God, I might be able to win this. And it's like, It was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. Like, this one, I would say, gives me more like the battle element and how that worked. Reminds me more of Blood Rage than it does Lost Ruin of Arnak by far. Yeah. Although that, like, those two are still very different, but it just has that tension feeling that you would get. So it was good. It was so good. I almost sneaked in for the win after I was last place all along. It was amazing. Such an epic ending. That's my number 1, Dune Imperium Uprising.
Awesome.
Yes. And then it was like, it was all over. It was done.
Yeah.
Go home. It's sad.
Now we wait for Malcon in June.
Yes. So that'll be nice. So Malcon in June, this is the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And it's our birthday. Mm-hmm. One of us, it's a big birthday. So that'll be super exciting. I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah. Now that we got Gobfest out of the way, we can start concentrating on Malcon. Now, next episode, we are doing our top 9 games that were published between the year 2000 to 2005. So kind of showing love to some of the older games, because like even in this list, I think I have like 2 or 3 games that kind of fit in that era. It's just still so good. Like, there's such great gems out there of just games that were published a while ago that kind of people forget about.
Yeah, I've got some good ones that I love.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I've got my list already put together. I forget what's on it. I'll have to go back. But yeah, so very excited for that one. Now, before we call it a day here, Carla, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at boardgamespecialist, all one word, and on Facebook I have a page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics. What about you?
So we have a Discord. Be sure to check out a Discord. We did a bunch of photo dumps of all the pictures from Gobfest on there as well. I'm also on Instagram as Mel's_boardgame_room. And my Facebook page is Mel's Board Game Room. And I have the YouTube channel, which is Mel's Board Game Room. And I actually did an unboxing of all the games I picked up at Gobfest. So if you want to see the other stuff I got, you can see that there as well. But yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to check out the next one for our top 9 games for games of 2000 and 2005.
Yeah, bye for now. Thanks for listening.
Bye.